Before the sideshow dinosaurial line went extinct, getting a sideshow statue was a major event to look forward to, as I saved for months from the pre-order to the release date. Now there's something about getting a polystone statue encased in styrofoam and then removing the different parts and then putting the diorama together that's really special. To a large extent, PNSO, especially when it offered its large-size hollow models, was a big consolation. But the feeling just wasn't the same. Well, I've just had that experience again. 2 years ago, I saw photographs of this floating about the net. At that time, I was completely ignorant of the Chinese market and had no idea what it was and who did it. I was just blown away by the scene of peace and family, something I've really started to appreciate in more recent years. But it was an image that was seared into memory. I just couldn't forget the scene, the attitude of the dinosaurs, the color scheme, everything creating an incredible sense of calm and tranquility. Now fast forward a couple of years and finally, I have it. Not just that, but I managed to contact and get a few facts from the artist himself, Xiao. This is a GR/Black Horse Stygimoloch family. There are 2 editions as I'll explain later. Now first, let's get the elephant out of the room. Stygimoloch is now regarded as a junior synonym of Pachycephalosaurus. In my PNSO Pachycephalosaurus review, I explained how Horner and Goodwin in 2009 proposed that Stygimoloch and Dracorex were simply juveniles of Pachycephalosaurus. Further ruining the party, Goodrich et al. In 2010 suggested that flatheads like Homalocephali and Wananosaurus could also be juveniles of the dome-headed Pachycephalosaurs. Unlike the Triceratops Torosaurus controversy, this one is generally accepted. Now Xiao knew this, and the story behind this is such a wonderful romantic one. Xiao majored in digital design in college in 2009, although he released his first paleosculpt only in 2015, this Protoceratops. After watching Jurassic World 2, his wife became a big fan of the Stygimoloch, as I think many of us did. She asked if he could make such a cute creature, so as romantic artists do, he did. And since Stygimoloch was also a childhood favorite, since he saw a picture of one lying on the grass in a book, this was the first version. He posted that on his social media, and someone commented that she must be a lady, she looks beautiful and peaceful, and they'd love to see a baby around her. And that's when he hit on the idea of a scene in which a mother is calm and relaxed, surrounded by a bunch of annoying, mischievous rascals. And this is the result. I don't do unboxings, but I really want to show how thoughtful the packaging is and how it all comes together to give you something really precious. First, it comes in this very nice black slipcase, which already looks very classy. You can see how nice the reflective words Ancient Legends look. On the side, mine is number 20 out of 800. On all sides, just look at the elegance. There's also a very luxuriant feel to it. It's quite a tight fit. And on the inside, styrofoam. There's a very nice black and white photo on the insert. There's also this cardboard folder which contains some fact sheets. The English acknowledges Stygimoloch has been synonymized with Pachycephalosaurus and proceeds to tell you about Pachycephalosaurus. There's more interesting info, but in Chinese. You got the adult Pachycephalosaurus, the juveniles, Stygimoloch and Dracorex. I've shown you these images in my PNSO Pachycephalosaurus review. you get an evidence bag containing two photographs of the various fossils. These are real photographs. It really brings back memories when we had to develop real photographs at the Kodak shop. Now, some of you probably don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, just very nice. Okay, so on the inside, this is what we have. I've already removed the base, which goes here. You'll find the adult, and the sitting baby. And that's what you get for the standard edition. Now, because I ordered the EX edition, I also get another smaller base and two more babies. So here's the adult, and there were two things that immediately attracted me to her. The first is the color. I like earth tones, which you often see on dinosaurs, but not done in a boring way. And rather, you get a banded pattern, which is a favorite of mine. There's just such a calming feel to the coloration of this animal, which matches its pose of peaceful repose. I don't believe I've ever had a dinosaur model in pose like this, and I love it. We've seen countless depictions of fierce dinosaurs in aggression, and with Pachycephalosaurs, it's often in some kind of head-butting, dominance or defense play. And yet real animals don't do that all the time, and it's these in-between normal moments that are captured so little in art and sculpt, which Xiao has done in this design, even taking deer and goats as references to make it more elegant and gentle, and I think he succeeded wondrously. Now just look at that detail. Starting from the dome, you can see the craggy nature of it. The squamosal horns, and look at these very lifelike, bulging eyes, very detailed. The very carefully painted iris, and the conjunctiva has very tiny little lines that I can't see clearly, but give me the impression of tiny blood vessels. And look at all that sculpted detail. And of course you'll notice just how well painted and blended the colors are in the skin, the dome, the horns, as we travel down the neck, then the torso. Just look at this beautiful mix of greens, how they blend and seamlessly segue into the beige color. And this really sold me when I saw those images. From the top, see the broadness of the torso. And from here, you can see the texture of the neck. Going down, perhaps my favorite part, the banded tail. Again, look at the intermixing of green and pale beige. Notice too the texture, with each scale looking like its own piece. No uniformity here. Then down to the tip. And got to be real careful turning this, that you have ample clearance for the tail if you don't want to risk breaking it. And finally, the limbs. Now first, the legs. You can see going down, it goes to a very dark green, which is the only area that does appear a little plain. And even though in the right light, you do see some fading. Again, the detail. I just love the bunching up of the foot pads here on the underside. The hands are wonderfully sculpted, having the small size with the reduced digits probably modeled on other ornithopods. I just love the languidness of the pose here. If there was no diorama, but just this, I'd still get her. Next, let's get to the little ones. Now first, the one that comes with the standard edition, this sitting fellow. Now look at his sheepish, shy or fearful look as he sits behind the mother. Immediately you see a different color scheme, differentiating it from the adult. And the application is pleasingly applied in this dark blue that almost fades very nicely into the beige. And I love the dark, almost black wash that brings out further the tail. The tail bands are there, though just beginning. Painted so subtly as just hints of bands to come. The texture is finely executed as appropriate for a smaller animal. Especially look at the feet here. The arms and hands too. And finally, look at how the eyes are painted, even at this small scale. And to give you an idea of how small this is, here's the PNSO Pachycephalosaurus. Now for the exclusive edition, you get a couple of jousting, playing babies, and it just makes you smile. Now look at this naughty fellow. The facial expression is almost priceless. The detail, once again, is impeccable. Now starting at the head, then down the torso, the arms, down the legs, still so slender in their youth. And then down the tail. I really like how they've differentiated this baby from the first, which is realistic as you'd expect some variation even among siblings. There's a magnetic peg that fits into a receiving hole in the base. And the eyes, again, just so well painted. Then we have this little guy taking the fall. Again, a different color, and this time mainly brown, but look at this fade into the side. And just look at this blend of the stripes down the tail. And just compare it to the other baby. And you can see these are really different individuals. Look at this, just so cute. And this is the kind of play activity you would expect between baby animals preparing for what's to come when they become adults. If you've ever had kittens or puppies, you know this kind of rough and tumble happens. Now we get to the base. The main base is heavy. It's about 1.7 kilograms or 3.7 pounds. The detail, the rock. One possible minus is the way the base is sculpted by this mossy material. I'm not sure what this is. It certainly adds visual and textural interest, but it falls off really easily. Even if you've set it up, wind will gradually attrit it away. There was a lot more of this when I first opened the box, and much of it has been lost. The detail in this rock, the logs, very well done. Now here's the smaller base, which is no less detailed. Now, just one thing, these plants go into different pits. And while each plant ornament is numbered, the receiving holes aren't clearly marked. So I had to come up with this little schematic in case I store it again. If you do get this, I hope this will be useful for you. Now let me put the plants where they belong. So here's the completed base, ready to be populated. Now notice there are some impressions, and that's where the various animals go. So for the mother, a slight depression, and the sitting baby behind, and then here on the smaller base, you see this little indentation where the tail of the tumbling baby goes. And here in this pit is where the other baby inserts. So here's the whole diorama put together, and I have to say it's not just beautiful but moving. There's just such a feeling of serenity, peace, familial bliss. Without even having to anthropomorphize, it's easy to feel empathy for an animal with a family minding its own business, looking after its children, just wanting to be left in peace. And surely those are sentiments we can relate to as well. I knew this diorama spoke to me, but I never quite expected the mix of feelings that would be aroused looking at it. When I take in this scene, I'm filled with respect, awe, and peace. I'm also touched by a little sadness because this peaceful scene is always under threat from a predator, and also because I know, looking at this moment, frozen in time, that this is something we'll never ever get to witness. But mostly, looking at this makes me feel happy, hopeful and warm with feelings of family and love, and a motivation that I too have to do my little part so that we and our children can all enjoy this green earth for as long as we can. I'm going to include links to Xiao's social media in the description. I know he's working on some ceratosauruses, which should be very exciting. Now that ends this review of a very beautiful diorama. So let me wish you and your family peace and happiness and love. I'll see you guys with another review.